You're listening to the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I'm guessing you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, considering getting on the mats, or maybe you're returning after a short break. I'm so happy you're here listening or watching this episode. Please don't tap out before the end. When you want to heel hook a bigger guy, start training Jiu-Jitsu. I'd like to welcome Michael Diagua to my podcast. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you very much for joining me. I was really pleased to connect with you at Impact Invitational, where I also managed to get hold of Corey and encourage him to agree to be on the show as well. So I'm pleased you're here. Let's start with Impact Invitational and how that day or event was for you.
Yeah, for sure. So firstly, it was really nice to meet you there. Thank you for inviting me. The Impact Invitational was just really special to me. It's been a long time since I competed, so it was really, really special. And it really just blew my expectations out of the water. I really did not expect it to be like that, just as well run, as clean. Like it was just it was just perfect really to be coming back there. Also the like standard of my opponent and stuff like that, like it was just really good. Had special vibes that day, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I felt that there was some really lovely energy in the space. First of all, the mats looked beautiful. They were black mats, black zebra mats. I always love the look of nice, clean mats. I don't know about you, Michael.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I just said clean, and then in my mind I thought, why did I say that? But it was like just the whole thing. The production was clean, the mats were clean. Like the stage was nice. You know, it's a nice stage to be a part of.
Yeah, and it's very much a family vibe, very chilled, but a lot of kind of inner energy. Tell me about your match and how you kind of prepared yourself for this one.
So it's been a long time for me competing. Had a long break from jiu-jitsu, and at certain points I didn't think I'd ever do it or come back. So there was a lot of emotions there. And then I know the guys at Impact well, I've known them for years, obviously, and they messaged me. I sort of jumped at the chance. It all came at the right time. I'm obviously at Gracie Barra Salisbury, so it was just down the road technically. And then my first opponent pulled out, and I was met with Kieran, I believe his name is, and obviously did a little bit of research, and he's been doing really well on the scene. So it was a nice test. Unfortunately, I was very injured for this fight.
Okay.
Very injured. I didn't really get to prep how I wanted to, or how I used to. So my mentality, I don't advise this. Might any of my students watch this or anything, but I wanted to kind of test my jiu-jitsu in that state, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Which might sound a little bit crazy to most, but I wanted to make sure and test myself. Yeah, if I was ever injured, found myself injured, you know, you can't be out in the street and go, "Oh mate, you can't have my wallet today. I'm injured," you know. So I kind of didn't really get to do much. I only rolled about 2 times. What it was is I basically tore my hip flexor. My hip flexor was torn about 3 months prior. So I really was just just trying to do everything one-sided, and very much so. You can see from the videos I was lying, a specific way and stuff.
Yeah.
But, we got through it, and no disrespect to my opponent at all. I was ready to be honest. I was just ready to go and lose, if I'm honest, because I wasn't in any mindset or prep to do that. But I wanted to give him the respect. I put my name down, and I wanted to be there. So, but it went well.
It did go very well.
Yeah, it was good.
So you won the match on submission. Tell me about the submission, because I'm still learning. I'm not very good at submissions. I will admit I've got to find my thing. But tell me about this submission.
Yeah, so prior to my break, I spent a lot of time building myself as a brand, as a person, and I was pretty well known for leg locks. So coming back, I think if people could bet on the outcome of the fight, I'm sure they would have gone for a leg lock. And I managed to get one this time. It's an inside heel hook.
Yes.
We were both dry, so it was very quick.
Yep.
The grip was tight, yeah, and it was popping like pretty fast. But yeah, I mean that's my thing. I love it. I've been obsessed with them for a long time. But yeah, odds on that was what it was going to be.
Good. And just to kind of carry on, I was there and I observed, and I hope you don't mind me kind of noticing, you went to the corner of the mats after the match and
Mhm,
you seemed quite emotional. And
mhm,
it felt a very touching moment for you in that space. Tell me about what
mhm.
was going on there.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Competing is emotional for many people. Um, many competitors. Jiu-jitsu is emotional. I talk about this a lot. Can't put my finger on it. Jiu-jitsu is a very special thing for individuals, very much so. And I had a lot of question marks from myself. I didn't know whether I could still hang with somebody like that at a show at a good level. I obviously still have dreams and goals of getting back to where I was. So that was a good step forward. Um, I was shocked. It's been a little while for me to sort of take the win in because I did it. I did it well. I had good jiu-jitsu on the day. I felt
Yeah.
really good, to be honest with you, although injured. And I kind of just proved to myself that I could not only do it, but I believe I could still do it at the top level.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, one of my students, unfortunately, had something happen in their life, and it's very emotional. So that win was for him. So
Oh,
I shared that moment on the mat for him. And then, so yeah, two things really. Um, and I think it's important that I was able to put that emotion on those mats and then step off with everybody else.
yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that with me, Michael. It did feel
Sure.
like a very special moment. And just all respect to you and your
Thanks.
kind of teammates and everyone that was there supporting you as well.
For sure. Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
so you're a black belt,
Yes.
and you've taken some time off the mats.
Mhm.
But tell me how you started out training Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, sure. Um, so I used to watch Eurosport with my father many years ago. Um, and a little Japanese guy called Genki Sudo had really cool walkouts, and he was just cool. Used to fight like a robot sometimes, and all this stuff. And the very first fight I saw was against a American boxer called Butterbean, who I don't know if you know him, but he's absolutely massive.
Yep.
Boxing gloves on and stuff. And Genki Sudo ran off of the ropes and managed to heel hook him. And I think
Yeah.
from that day, I was just kind of, obviously I was always a smaller person at school and life and everything. So watching someone able to defeat somebody like that, I was like, what
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
And then we do the classic. You type in Google and YouTube, and up come the Gracies, and off you go. Um,
Yeah.
and I never looked back. But I went to university, and someone. I started jiu-jitsu really late. I went to university, and someone asked me, "Would you like to come to a session?" And that was me done.
Fantastic. So was that how many years ago did you kind of embark on your jiu-jitsu journey?
I think it's been 15 years now.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love
jiu-jitsu.
hearing I love hearing
Brilliant.
about the long kind of journey. This is very much I'm at the beginning of my jiu-jitsu career, having started in my mid-40s.
Hmm.
And, I know this is a long game. For me, it's about building up the strength and resilience for my kind of, the next 40, 50 years of my life.
Mhm.
You know, I certainly, you know, I grew up watching wrestling, Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks,
Awesome.
many years ago. I mean, it feels very comical now, but you know, it was a very much a family experience, all watching, all kind of cheering on. And
Yeah.
certainly when I watch high-profile matches in person, I get very fired up and want to be on the mats.
Yeah.
So I just need to do more of that, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. Like, yeah, I love. It's long, but so I mean, everyone's all the memes have been done, all the quotes have been done, but it really sounds really mad because, but it does start at black belt. Like I'm doing
Ah,
some of the best jiu-jitsu I've ever done now. I mean, I learned something the other day that I wish I'd known many years ago. Um, I had one of those moments. I was like, damn, I wish I knew that. I would
you're going to have to
um,
share that with us now, Michael.
oh yeah, for sure. I can if you like. Yeah, so I
Yes,
went to.
please.
I was lucky enough to go with my Gracie Barra brothers from Salisbury, and we went up to open or to the opening of Sutton Parade,
Oh,
and
yes, I saw.
yeah, so we had none other than Roger Gracie on the mat, and he shared his mount details, like how he stays in mount and how he finishes the cross collar. So um, he's the greatest of all
Right.
time, and showing us his move, that he does, and um, it was one of those moments I just thought, oh man, I wish I knew that a long time ago because I probably had a much better MMA career. It's one of
Yeah,
them.
nice. I
But
love
just
it
proves you're
when,
still learning, right?
yeah, and I think, you know, when we do pick up tips like that and kind of realize that maybe if we'd learnt that before, it would have changed our technique. But there's also
Mhm,
a natural flow of our learning as well. And everything
mhm.
seems to come in at just the right time. So maybe that
Yeah, I
was the
think so.
right time for you.
Yeah, I think so. I'd agree with that. I think I might like mount position a little bit more now, being a smaller person.
Good. Yes, I'm still working mine out. Um, but I don't know. Part of me feels really disappointed that the journey starts at black belt. It feels such a long way to go. How
Mm,
would you encourage anyone at white or blue or even purple belt to keep going and keep persisting towards a future direction in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu?
yeah, it's um, it's such a hard thing to explain to people unless you do it or have done it. Um, Blue belt is tough. Blue belt is definitely like the toughest belt by far, I think. Um, I enjoyed purple belt the most personally. No pressure,
Yeah,
went out and did my thing. But blue belt was a hell of a journey for me. And it's where statistically we lose the most people,
yeah,
is at blue belt. So there's definitely space to delve into that question that you asked, because how do you make someone carry on when they're consistently the nail? How do
yeah,
you show them and say to them, look, I promise you it flips over, I promise. um but I think you just have to show them. You have to just keep showing that you're there, so you're going to turn up, you're putting the
yeah,
effort into them. um yeah, white belt is just it's great to have you there. It's great to be there, and don't worry about it. And I know that sounds nuts, but don't worry about it.
yeah.
And they just look at you with those starry eyes of like, what do you mean? It means everything to me, and you're like, don't worry about it, because I can't really talk to you until you figure stuff out. Blue belt
Yeah.
is blue belt's crazy because of the gap. A fresh blue belt is nowhere near a blue belt four stripe. So that's
Yes.
a big
Yeah,
old
I
jump.
think that's one of the concerns for me. However, I secured my first competition a week into a blue belt, so I've kind of
Mhm.
broken the ice with the, you know, I'm fighting against a blue belt of much senior rank, but I've
Yeah,
got it out the way now, and I didn't
yeah.
tap. It's always my
Oh,
mission not to tap out before the end, and that's
awesome.
exactly what I did. I was fighting all the way through. Not quite as accomplished as someone more experienced in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, but for me, I was happy that I stayed the course.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was going to say to you, the short answer to your question is literally, um, small and smart goals. Like that
Yeah.
goal of not tapping is great, because
Yeah.
it's an achievable goal. To go out and say
Mm,
I'm going to win everything at blue belt,
yeah.
that's not such an achievable goal without hard work, obviously. But small goals
Yeah.
will get you there. Blue belts want to be, or not just blue belts. Everybody wants to be good straight away, And in this
Yeah.
art, it takes it takes a long time, for sure.
Yeah. This is the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. Go and check out the latest video clips over on jiu.jitsu.lu on Instagram. And as you're listening or watching on your favourite podcast platform, I'd really appreciate you dropping the show a rating and a review. Have you ever fancied yourself as a podcast host? Well, now could be your chance. I'm opening up 3 slots before the end of the year for you to be the featured host of the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast. All you have to do is subscribe to the show and drop me a DM. It really is that easy. We can match you with a guest, or you can bring someone you'd really like to interview about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu on the show. Today, I'm having a conversation with Michael Diagua. Michael, so we've talked about the advice for white belts and that blue belts, it's quite a challenge. Tell me about your purple belt journey.
Purple belt, yeah, cool. Purple belt was where I think I started to believe in myself, and I have always been a competitor. Like inside my mind, I always basically, when I'm a purple belt, I want to be a brown belt. When I'm a brown belt, I want to be a black belt, like tomorrow. And I I forced my way in. So I, at purple belt, went out in the country and competed, and I didn't call out, but I sought out people much higher than me, people good
Yeah.
names, things like that. And I consistently tagged Scramble and Polaris in my stuff, and I went from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So which Polaris were you at?
So I was on Polaris 10, and then I was supposed to be on like a recent Polaris and before my break.
Yeah. Polaris 10. So that we're up to 30 now. So that was
Yeah.
probably a little while ago at purple belt. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, it was. I was fought Spencer Hewitt, so he was a third degree black belt at the time.
Wow.
Both of us have the links to MMA and stuff.
Yeah.
And because it's one of the biggest shows in Europe and the world, I put the time in, and I felt really, really good. Spencer, in hindsight now, gave me the utmost respect, and he just kind of didn't want to engage really. And then afterwards, he mentioned to me, just him and his coach were like, your leg locks were dangerous.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nice. It's a respect thing, but at the same time, it's Polaris. We have to put on a
Yeah.
show a little bit for us to come
Yeah.
back. But it was okay. But really, really nice to be a part of, and I was on there with my heroes. Uriah Faber and people like that. It was really, really cool.
Amazing. And other shows or invitationals you've done around that sort of time before you took your kind of break from the mats?
Yeah. So I just the high profile ones, I guess. I was invited to do Grapple Fest, which is obviously, basically the other biggest show in Europe, and that one is really special. Like I talked to Chris Thompson, the guy that runs it, and we were talking about it recently, actually, like just how special the show was that I went to, because it was in COVID times, and he managed to put on a show somehow, bending all sorts of rules, and like shepherding us in these huts, and we were doing all sorts of stuff, and again, really high level competitor, and that was really cool. A really cool match. It was like a leg log off with a guy called Ollie Bates, very talented kid, and that was fun. Yeah, so I was kind of enjoying my time at those times, and I obviously won Naga belts, and what else did I do? Battle Grapple, I fought 2 people on there and stuff like that. So I was going around just doing invitationals and just trying to get used to competing, really, because my first time competing, I treated it like I was rolling in the gym. It's very different. So I
Yeah.
had to learn. I learned by fire, basically. I just made myself
Yeah.
do it.
Good. That sounds an incredible experience, and reaching out, following and connecting with really quite high profile people in jiu-jitsu. Um,
Hmm.
are you happy to talk about the time off the mats and how challenging that time was for you?
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, we'll keep it light-hearted. We don't go too deep. But I was part of a just say not a very good gym or lineage at the time, which I didn't know. It was the only thing available to me in my town.
Yeah.
Um, but as time went on and I was building my profile and myself, um, just little things were happening. Like if I had a really successful class, and it went crazy in the WhatsApp, the next week that class wouldn't be on, stuff like that. So I started to, figure out what was happening. And the turning point was I just said, I think it's time for me to go and open my own gym, my black belt. And I
Yeah.
think I want to spread my wings and do what I believe jiu-jitsu is for. You're supposed to have students and they pass your knowledge on and all this stuff. And yeah, anyway, stuff happened, jiu-jitsu politics.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to know, I really wanted to know why someone could do that to me. So
Yeah.
I started to focus on mental health and how and why, and I kind of went
Mm,
down that rabbit hole for 3 years. And
yeah.
those people that know me, I've spent my time off the mats working in schools and SEMH schools and with children with trauma and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I started going down that sort of route and ended up meeting some really, really high level therapists and psychotherapists and stuff. And I started doing a psychotherapy course. But it's not between me and you because people are going to watch this, but between me and you, between me and you and the audience, I never felt like myself. I always felt like I had left behind 90% of who I am as a human being. And
Yeah.
I was chasing something that just was going to be fine and I was interested in. But, it's like, I don't know, like taking Superman's cape off him. It just felt weird. I'd spent so many years building
Yeah.
myself and uh, like marketing myself and meeting people and, you know, I didn't want to just be someone who did jujitsu and got to the end. I
Yeah.
wanted to be someone who, especially in the UK, people went, oh no, he was good. Or, oh, that's Mike Diaghier, he's good. Or give back to jiu-jitsu, a little bit.
Yeah.
And luckily I got the opportunity to come back after 3 years, but it was a dark period, but it
Yeah.
was, it's made me who I am today. And I think through that period, I'm able to be the best coach I've ever been and the
Yeah.
best person on and off the mats now. So it's made me a
Yeah.
better black belt for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think, when teachers, coaches, professors have been through difficult times, they're able
Mhm.
to echo and resonate and understand some of the struggles that us as students coming to the mats day in, day out go through. Whether things
Mhm.
are spoken about or not, there's that understanding that doesn't necessarily need to be talked about, but you're holding space for them on the mats and you're able just to make sure they're safe, they're supported, and they can learn and grow within their own capability. Um,
Mhm.
tell me about some of the positive aspects of that 3 year break for you, and how you kind of overcame some of life's challenges in that time.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I think the most important thing that anybody will tell you is when things like that are happening and you can't really figure out why, or is
Mm,
it sounds stupid, but self-love. So you have to look after yourself and you have to find yourself basically and start to
yeah,
love yourself again. Because sometimes without you even realizing, you lose yourself basically.
yeah,
Um, and in those moments when you're basically, our brain wants to keep us safe. We have to realize that we
yeah,
are actually in control of our brain, not the other way around. Our brain just wants to
yep,
keep us safe. And sometimes it does things that doesn't make doesn't actually make sense. So
yeah,
um, we go down those rabbit holes, you know, but it's really important to surround yourself with good people, like people you love and trust. And
Yeah.
then it's perfectly okay to go incognito as well, like I did. You couldn't get hold of me if you
Yeah.
had BJJ at the end of your name, you know. And I,
Yeah.
I just went away. Positively, I've learned exactly that, and I do believe that I'm able to, because I never, a lot of my stuff was myself, so I didn't have a coach, I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have what I believe and know now that what a black belt should be. So
Yeah.
I give, arguably I give too much, but I give a lot to my students, and I'm there 24/7. If you need me, my phone is there. We have handheld computers in our hands, and there's no excuse, right? So
Yeah.
something I need to continue to learn is maybe put it down and not give so much. But I'm finding the balance, and that's okay. But I'd rather be there for people than not, because I know what it feels like to not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's
Uh,
not just my students, but anyone in the game. I think it's important,
yeah.
because like what you're saying is correct. Is when you reach this pinnacle of the sport and black belt and stuff, it's you can kind of put yourself in that situation again. You know, that person that really is struggling, or that person, and you
Yeah.
know, I think hopefully, because of the ride I've been on, I'm able to kind of guide in a nice way and get people going again. You know.
Yeah. I think you're right also in saying that we're in charge of our brains and our minds, not the other way round. And I think when we do start disconnecting and feeling maybe a bit spaced out and
Hmm.
questioning life and our own being, that we do reach out and connect with other people.
Sure.
And the community in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, as we all know, is there to support us. And we
Hmm.
are all kind of rooting for each other and you know, that's just the really lovely bit when something happens or when something doesn't happen. We're all there
Yeah.
in a physical way. I mean, you know, we might still be getting the you know what kicked out of each other, but that's
Mm.
fine. That's love at the end of the day when you're on the mats, I guess.
100%. Yeah, it's the best love. I think you're like the Impact Invitational, funny enough, was a room full of what we're talking about. Everyone was in
Yeah,
the right headspace. It just felt like,
yeah,
you know, I didn't even know this team, but I reckon I could talk to them and say, look, you know, it just, everyone had an open door, and
yeah,
um, just that whole vibe. Even afterwards, you could go and have drinks, you know, and everyone was just chilling and staying around, and that's what Brazilian Jiu Jitsu should be like. We need to filter out these stories, you know, these horror stories and
yeah,
things. We need to filter them
yeah,
out, all these Reddit threads, you know, get rid of them. We all do jiu-jitsu, and
yeah.
that's it, full stop. There should be no more, you know.
Love it. Now, you've already given some kind of tips for white belts and blue belts and, you know, mount position that you've learned from Roger Gracie. Um, do you have any other advice for any kind of brown belts or black belts even that are still very much committed to the art from your perspective, and what might help them in their continuing their journey?
For sure. So I think there's two types of people in jiu-jitsu. There's competitors, and then there's people who do jiu-jitsu because they love it. So if you're a competitor, it's your life. Like, you
Yeah,
don't stop thinking about it. It's every day. It's constant. You train. So if you're a competitor and you're feeling a little bit stuck, I promise you, the best way to jump over that hill is to contact that person who is the best in your weight division, and go and train with them, compete with them, train with them, feel what it's like to be against them, and then ideally want to be them, and go away, because that person will 90% of the time, 99 in jiu-jitsu, welcome you in and be honored to train with someone who wants to push them as well. Um, that's why it's the best thing as a competitor. As a person that just likes to train and go around, again, it could be monotonous to hear that same professor's voice telling you the same
yeah,
Kimura technique he's been telling you for 10 years. Change your scene. That doesn't mean change
yeah,
team. That means change your scene. Go and train somewhere else for a little while. Fall in love with jiu-jitsu again, because it is special. I think we put such a cap on ourselves, or people of old used to put such a cap on
mm,
ourselves by, no, you've got to train here. Like, don't show this to anyone. Like, it's like, no, Do you know how nice it feels when you show someone something and they win it on a show and you know you've shown them that?
Yeah,
It's great. Like that, but that's jujitsu. You cannot put, like we said this earlier, like I'm still learning. I learned something the other day and then I brought it to my students. Do you think Roger's
yeah,
upset about that? Of course he's not.
no,
Like we're just making jiu-jitsu better. So I think if you're upset that your students travel around anywhere, it's your own emotional stuff
yeah, yeah.
for sure.
I'm really heartened by that advice. Actually, as a blue belt, I'm filled with fear about finding competitors in my age category, in my weight category, to go and train with,
Mhm,
because I've had this conversation with a number of other individuals. You know, what advantage have we got left if we're matched? I rarely match with a Masters 4 super heavy female,
mhm.
if at all, and I've often dropped to a Masters 2. Um, but I've got the weight and I've got my age advantage, and it's what, you know. I'm then completely relying on my jiu-jitsu to win or to grow and to kind of achieve, you know, what I want to out of that match or um, kind of session on the mats. And that fills me with fear. It's like, what have I got left? You know, how can I trust my jiu-jitsu? So I guess one of my questions to you: how can individuals trust their jiu-jitsu? What would be the best thing to recommend?
Yeah, so like people are going to gather. I'm a big advocate of going out and meeting people and training, but if me and you trained all the time, I know how you move. I know what you do. I know the
Yeah,
positions you don't like. I know like the things I'm good at against you. Like, so eventually we both become stale until learn something and you bring
yeah,
something new to the gym. But if you don't go out, okay, and we can all be honest, when we go to open mats, it's the
yeah,
closest thing you get to competition because you're rolling with a stranger. Nobody rolls with a stranger
yeah,
nicely. It's not. That's not how this works. We all want that competitive. Like, no, we're rolling differently to how I roll with my friend in the gym. So that's when you trust your jiu-jitsu, is when it works in that pressure cooker.
okay,
And so if you're not into competing, and that's why me as a professor, I will really really push people to compete. If it's
yeah,
not in them to compete, then I will, oh, cool, my friends are coming to the gym this week, and I'll set it up for you secretly so you just don't know.
yeah.
And then, oh, look, here's a lady, your age, your weight. Isn't that amazing? No way. And then you
Okay,
guys roll.
we've picked Michael off already. If that ever happens, you know what's going on.
Yeah, I think my students are starting to figure it out. Yeah, because I think it's really important, like you said. And some people have the anxiety. It'd be unfair to me, like you have to compete. Of course you don't.
Yeah,
But what I mean is, you have to raise that level of anxiety,
yeah,
that fear of like, I don't know you. Who are you? I'm going to roll with you, and then
yeah,
you'll know if your jiu-jitsu works for sure, and you'll start to trust it. I only competed at Impact because I believe in my jiu-jitsu. That's
yeah,
the only reason. I should have pulled out. I believe in it. I'm like, I think I'll be okay, or I've got that chance that I might catch him,
yeah.
injured or not. And that's important. That's something everyone should strive to do, I think. And it's okay to say that. You should be happy with your jiu-jitsu. Work hard to get there.
Yeah. I like that. That's great advice. I'm kind of ticking off all the people I train with that know the way I move and I know their style. And there's a rinse and repeat when you're
Hmm.
kind of training and you go, okay, that's the stale bit. That's when I need to go and put myself take a deep breath and go and feel the fear and do it anyway and go
Yeah.
and roll with somebody new.
Yeah, we have that even when we go to another gym. You have those little butterflies again. You're like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
I've been doing it for so long, and if I just turned up to another gym, you have that feeling, new environment, new place. That's nice.
yeah,
We
yeah,
shouldn't be scared to do that.
yeah. It reminds you that you're alive.
That's it. Remind you you're alive, and then at the same time, the minute you slap hands, pump fists, your jiu-jitsu talks, not you, and you'll see where you are.
Okay, I'm gonna take that as great advice and
Yeah,
just let that kind of resonate. Okay, Michael said.
yeah. I mean, don't listen to me. I'm just saying, why not?
Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Salisbury's my hometown, so I will be visiting at some point again, and we'll bring the kids to train as well because we train as a family,
Awesome.
and it's very much a kind of family vibe.
Yeah,
And encouraging both of them to compete, which one of them has already. The other one is in the pipeline. Anyway, thank
love
you
that.
so much. How can people
Nice.
follow your journey, Michael, if you're happy for them to?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just on Instagram. Yeah, I used to have an old athlete one, but now I'm a private man. But if you follow me, for sure, no worries at all. I will jump on there. Yeah.
Wonderful. And we look forward to seeing you at the next Invitational or even something else.
Yeah, right. I hope so.
Okay, you know where to find Michael.
Yes, obviously I'm the head coach at Gracie Barra Salisbury as well. So anytime, the door's always open. Come and
Great
train.
stuff.
It'd be nice to see you guys. But you can
Fabulous.
find me on there, I'm sure.
Great stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for speaking.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for telling your friends about this show. And as soon as this episode ends, I'd really appreciate you dropping the show a rating and a review. Catch you again on the next episode of the Jiu-Jitsu podcast.